Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to take a look at the 1970 United States Washington quarter. And here is one, Washington facing to the left. It says Liberty above his head. In God we trust under his chin, and 1970 underneath his neck. And back here we see there is a letter, kind of a funky letter. It's a D, and we'll take a look at that later. D, of course, for Denver Mint. The other one here does not have any letter on it back here. I'm going to tip it up just so you can see it quite right there. That means it's a Philadelphia Mint. When there's no letter in 1970 on the quarter, it means it's Philadelphia Mint. Now, of course, you know these quarters have been around for a while, but you can find these in your pocket change pretty easily. It's a 50-plus-year-old quarter. Look at this D here, and that D is just what happens as it kind of wears down. But it is a small D anyway, so let's magnify it way up and take a look at it. And you can see how when it's a little smaller, it gets a little more crushed. I'll show you a more modern one. This is the 1998 quarter, and look at the D there. So they've changed the D a little bit over time here, and this one's much more defined. You can actually see how it kind of dented in there. It's stamped separately from the coin. So this, the coin is made and then it's stamped with the D, and so you can kind of see how it goes in there. But that D and that D, they don't even look the same. This one looks smaller. It looks messier, I guess you could say, and it's certainly been worn in, so you couldn't tell the letter. If you didn't know United States coins, you couldn't tell what that blob was there. On the Philadelphia, on the other hand, you look at it and you can see it's clear that there's no mint mark there. This is not something that's been worn down or worn off. It's just not there. How many did they make? Well, the Philadelphia Mint made 136.4 million. The Denver Mint made 417 million, and the San Francisco Proof coins, they made 2.6 million. What's weird about these is it's better to get an MS65. In other words, a circulated one might be worth $10 or $12 in MS65 or Mint State 65, like a really shiny circulated one, worth way more than a S. Or for San Francisco, the Proof coins probably worth $2 to $3 each. And you see we got a couple other coins here, and I'll tell you why we have these two piles of coins from 1970, and that's because I saw a video on Couch Collectibles. And Couch Collectibles is a great channel if you want to look at some of the coins. And he talked about the double-struck 1970s, and the double-struck 1970s were on the obverse and the reverse. In other words, 1970 had some coins that were double-struck on the front, and then there's some other coins that were double struck on the back. So I thought we would just kind of look through these and see what we could see. When I talked to you about the Philadelphia, I just wanted to show you that, of course, this is a P, and that's what the Philadelphia Mint should look like. If once you get to the Philadelphia Mint coins, there is a P there. That's clearly a P. Now, there's no P on these ones, just Ds or nothing. Well, let me take that back. There is a proof coin. And that's the S-Mint Proof coin, but it won't look like this. Almost never gets into general circulation. It's not worth a lot. Even the Proof coin's only worth a few bucks. But if you can find one that's been double struck, then you've struck gold, because those could be worth a few $1,000. So the way we look at it is we look up here and we see if there's any doubling in the letters here. And let me tell you, on the ones on Couch Collectibles, you could see the mark on there. So let's turn it over. Do the same thing at the top. Any sense of this is actually worn right into the coin, but really no doubling there. Again, there's the front. Can't see any doubling on the Liberty there. Here's the back. You know, some of you say, well, it's so worn, you couldn't tell if it was. That's probably true, but most of the time you could actually kind of see it. Now, a coin this worn would not be worth much. Couch Collectibles talks about how if you get an MS65, it might be worth between $2,000 and $3,000. And these are not MS65s. However, if it was double struck, even in this condition, it would be worth something. And again, we're not seeing any doubling there. And going over to the back, absolutely no doubling that we can see there either. This is one of the last of the Ds. No doubling on the front, and you can really see it, especially if you tip it up here and get that shiny part to it. No doubling on the back. And this one's a weird one here. I just want to go down in. This one's really been worn. Now, these coins are a copper nickel-clad copper coin. And sometimes they wear right down through, so you can actually see some of the copper coming through. By copper nickel clad copper, what they do is they take these coins and put copper nickel, mix it together, put a copper center inside it, and then copper nickel on the front and the back. And this one's actually worn through, and you can see the greening of the copper, and you can see some of the copper actually worn through. We're not seeing any doubling there though either. And here's another spot that wears here. See that IN? See how this 1970 gets melded in? Again, absolutely no doubling that we can see here, and no doubling here, but we do have this smoothed out M, and we do have this smoothed out IN. Yeah, there's another one of those D's. Just look at those D's. We've got some of the worst D's you'll ever see. Oh, and when we talked a little bit about the copper nickel clad, a lot of you remember back in the 60s, 64 and before, the old silver coins, and this of course is 90% silver, and these are worth quite a bit. But by 1970 there was no more silver. Let's look at that one. There's another chipped up D. Let's just look at all the D's when we go through. No D there, that's a Philly. That's the best D in the bunch, and it's on the most chipped up coin. Best D in this bunch anyway. Oh, and look at that. So there's a 1970 D with the whole D on it. You don't see many of those. And this is what the 1998 D looked like. So look at the size difference here. And some of you say, well, you're holding the other one closer to the... So let me put this one down first. And then I'll put the 1970 on top of it, and you'll see that it's still way smaller. So this is the D from 1970. That's a D from 1998. They just changed the D. Simple as that. And I mean, maybe one of the reasons they changed it because it doesn't get molded down so much into a shape that you can't even tell what it is, like this, or the first one that we saw. All right. Well, that's all we have today from DC Coinworld International Coin Channel. These are not going to be worth money. The ones that are worth money are not the ones with the big blob D on it, like this. The ones that are worth money are the ones that have some doubling in the lettering on either the obverse, the front, or the back. And if we get one of those in great condition, it can be worth thousands or thousands of dollars. Have a great day from DC Coinworld, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.